All right, so we are going to look at the poem Anna's Monsters by Justin Nunez. This is a fun one. If you remember, we did this in class together. I enjoyed this poem. One thing I'm going to do first, because I believe there's some questions about stanzas, is I'm going to mark my stanzas. So stanza 1, remember that's the paragraph form. So we have 1, 2, 3. And then I have stanza 4. Then I have stanza 5. I'm going to read the poem. I'm scared of the darkness. I don't care who knows it. I don't like the darkness at all. I sleep with the lights on, 2 lights in my room and a much brighter light in the hall. I'm frightened of monsters that might come and get me whenever I climb into bed. My mother says, Anna, you're just being silly. The monsters are all in your head. But I don't think that's true because of what happened last night, the first day of the week. I put on my nightgown, got under the covers, rolled over, and heard a strange squeak. It wasn't a mouse, and it wasn't a rabbit. It wasn't a dog or a cat. So I screamed out in terror. My mother came running. Whatever, she asked me, was that? I heard a strange noise, I explained to my mother. I was almost too frightened to talk. I knew it was monsters, some big hungry monsters. It was all I could do not to squawk. I don't like the darkness, I said to my mother. I don't like the dark and the night. Can't I get up and sit with you on the couch in a room that's all cheery and bright? Oh, Anna, Mom said, and she looked at me sadly. Do we need to go through this once more? Last night you assured me that you saw a monster. It turned out to be socks on the floor. But this one was real, I complained to my mother. I heard it squeak loudly and clear. I don't like the darkness. The monsters will eat me. Don't let them come anywhere near. My mother explained that the noises weren't monsters. She showed me some interesting things. For example, I learned that my bed makes a squeak when you push down too hard on the springs. So there weren't any monsters. They didn't exist. And I know that my mother was right. But what if those monsters that never existed come into my bedroom tonight? It's a fun poem. Okay, so question 1, part A. Read the line from the first stanza of the poem. The monsters are all in your head. Which phrase best states the meaning of all in your head? Easy to see, ready to attack you, only imagined, giving you a headache. Well, obviously we know it's something she imagined, so the answer would be C. All right, part B, which detail in the first stanza best helps the reader understand the meaning of all in your head? So which detail? Just like we say, what's the best evidence? What detail helps you understand the meaning of all in your head? Is it, I'm scared of the darkness? I sleep with the lights on? Whenever I climb into bed? Anna, you're just being silly. Which detail from the first stanza? I want to make sure all these examples are from the first stanza. Yeah, they are. Okay, so if it's only imagined, which shows only imagined? It would be D. She's just being silly. Anna, you're just being silly. That's what the mom says. All right, question 2. Which statement best summarizes the speaker's message about fears? A, for most people, nighttime is scary because it is dark and quiet and nobody is awake. B, many people are much too fearful and some are even afraid of their own surroundings. C, it can be hard to stop being afraid even when someone proves that what you fear is not real. Or D, it is easy to get over a fear once someone shows you that your fear is based on something that is not real. And I remember in class a lot of people got this one wrong. So you ask yourself, at the end of the poem, what's the whole idea? And a lot of people, I believe when they got this wrong, they chose D. They said it was easy to get over a fear. Her mom explains the fear away. And if you stop with the last 2 lines, if you didn't have those last 2 lines, that would be the answer. But the last 2 lines of the poem shows that even though her mom's explained it, Anna's still scared. She showed her that, oh, it's just the noises in the room. It's all this stuff you have. If she just cleaned up her room, maybe she wouldn't be afraid. Wouldn't have the socks everywhere. Wouldn't have all her stuff everywhere. But at the end, she's like, okay, every other time it's been fake. But what if this time it's real? So even though it's been explained to her, she's still scared and frightened. So the answer would be C. It can be hard to stop being afraid even when someone shows that what you fear is not real. All right, question 3. How are the events in stanzas 2 and 3 important to the poem's themes? What do? You go back and read stanzas 2 and 3. But I don't think that's true because of what happened last night, the first day of the week. I put on my nightgown, got under the covers, rolled over, and heard a strange squeak. It wasn't a mouse and it wasn't a rabbit. It wasn't a dog or a cat. So I screamed out in terror. My mother came running. Whatever she asked me was that. I heard a strange noise, I explained to my mother. I was almost too frightened to talk. I knew it was monsters, some big hungry monsters. It was all I could do not to squawk. I don't like the darkness, I said to my mother. I don't like the dark and the night. Can't I get up and sit with you out on the couch in a room that's all cheery and bright? Okay, so how are the events in stanzas 2 and 3 important to the poem's theme? Would it be that these events show Anna doesn't like the dark of night because that is when she sees the monsters? Is it that these events show Anna remembers it was last night that she heard a squeak? Is that these events show Anna's mom comes running in fear when Anna screams? These events show Anna believes that the monsters make the noises that scare her in the dark. So which of these are important to the theme of the poem? So I look back. Okay. I can eliminate B. I can eliminate C. So it's between A or D. These events show Anna doesn't like the dark of night because that is when she sees the monsters. I've been away too long. It's taken me a long time to think. I'm going to say D. The reason we're saying D is because she's constantly talking about the noise, particularly in stanza 3. I know some people would say, well, she also talks about the darkness. But the answer is going to be D. These events shows that Anna believes that the monsters make the noises that scare her in the dark because she's like, I knew it was monsters. And earlier she's screaming when she hears the sound. All right, select one choice from each stanza that best supports the answer. So we have B from stanza 2, screamed out in terror. And we have D, I knew it was monsters. Because that's what she believes. All right, question 4. Which line from the poem best summarizes a theme of the poem? Would it be that the monsters are all in her head? I don't like the darkness. So I screamed out in terror. Okay, so which of these is summarized as a theme of the poem? We can eliminate B and C. So it would be A or D. Based off of the entire poem, it would be A, that the monsters are all in Anna's head. All right, so that's Anna's Monsters. We're finished with that for now. I think we have one more poem left, and I'll see you later.